everybody. It's me, Carmine DeStefano, the Bookman. I have seen the new Disney Cinderella last night, as it were, the day that it opened. Now I want to let you all know my history with this movie, especially Disney's version of this movie. I grew up with the soundtrack and the movie itself. When I was a child, we used to play the album all the time. My sisters and I used to perform it and everything like that. We loved it. It was the best. And I've seen the movie a bunch of times. I'm a big fan of the Disney classics. I mean the original Disney classics, not the new ones where they make new movies every fucking month or so. And I read the original fairy tale, all different versions of it and everything like that. So I really know what the source material is, and I really know where their source material is. Now, before I get into it, first of all, I just want to let you know that the 1950 version of Cinderella I thought was great, and I loved it. It was my childhood, more or less. And atop that, it was a very high quality movie with a really, really frightening villainess. She was nasty, the stepmother. But just to let you know, I saw a bunch of Disney trailers. They got a bunch of movies coming out. They all look like the same fluff. They're doing another thrill ride movie like The Haunted Mansion and the Pirates of the Caribbean 4 quartet movies and stuff. They're doing one about Tomorrowland. They're doing another one of these Up cartoons. I mean, there's so many of these movies that Disney's doing right now. And considering it was a PG movie, the theater was chock full of little kids. Now, I just love children. But not movie theaters, especially when your parents are just as much of a distraction as you are. Because the movie opened before the movie really started. Oh, by the way, they're making another Paul Blart movie because you really needed another Paul Blart movie. And note to Hollywood, Kevin James will never be Chris Farley. Kevin James will be Rick James before he's Chris Farley. So cut the shit. It doesn't matter how many times this guy gets run over by planes, he'll never be Chris Farley, so let's just stop, okay? But anyway, after the trailers and before the movie, there was a short from Frozen. And, you know, a short like they had with The Incredibles, with Tangled. This was a Frozen short, so forget it. Right away, every fucking kid was going apeshit. And it was like a musical short, which was different. And it was about Elsa throwing a birthday party for Anna. And it was sweet. I mean, like I said, I played out Frozen. I watched it every fucking day. And then, you know, because it reminded me of my sisters growing up, so I loved that aspect of it. But I watched it every day to the point where I was like, all right, I'm sick of this. Listen, I don't want to watch this anymore. But you know, I still like the two main characters. And for Disney to be able to get all of these now famous characters, I mean, Kristen Bell was famous before all that, but now all these renowned characters just for a 5-minute short, it goes to show you the resources they have. But it was cute. Despite all that, still to this day, Jack Attack is the best Disney Pixar short ever. That's the best Disney short ever. Not Pixar, best Disney short ever. The Jack Attack is the best. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's great. If you've ever watched The Incredibles, you have to watch the Jack Attack. It's great. So the movie opens up, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I'm not going to say it really was bad. I thought it was pretty good. I really thought it was pretty good. I thought the visuals were really stunning. I thought that the main characters did a great job. And of course, Kate Blanchett was usual Kate Blanchett. She was spectacular. And I didn't sit there doing all of the Kate Hepburn references from The Aviator like I thought I would. Like when she popped up, I didn't go, how there's a very impressive mountain coming up. Like I didn't say anything like that. Or, you're not extending enough on your follow through. Because when she's in a movie, you forget, you know, that she did another movie. You just forget. She's that great. And at first it seemed as though they weren't giving her enough airtime. But as the movie progressed, she did kind of show herself to be villainous. Although she wasn't as villainous as the original one. The original one was a nasty bitch. But they did sort of extend, he said extend, they did sort of extend the opening with her relationship with her mother and her relationship with her father. In the original movie, it opens with the mother's dead, he remarries, and then the father dies. That's pretty, so they focus more on this young woman being tortured by her stepsisters and her stepmother. Whereas this one, they really drove home the idea that they were this incredibly loving family, and they were going on about politics, and they were going on about economics and everything. So there was a lot more of that. It was a little, there were some mature or maturer themes in this one than there were in the original one. The original one was just telling a fairy tale. Here's this young woman who is treated like a slave, who put up with all that bullshit until the day of the ball when she had a chance to get her illustrious move from rags to riches, and they abused her and she was about to give up, but then her fairy godmother saved her, and yada yada yada, the glass slipper and blah 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 blah. You know how it all goes. Whereas in this one it was kind of like they were building up how beautiful a person she was. And the young woman that played Cinderella, Lily James, I believe it is, never seen her before, but she did a really good job. She did. Was it Academy Award winning performance? I don't know. I don't think it's that good, but she did a really good job to portray Cinderella as being this sweet innocent that loved life and was positive about everything and took everything upon her shoulders with as much kindness and courage as she could. The issue that I had with the way they told it is in the cartoon. Now, this is a cartoon, and granted, Disney cartoons are tremendous quality back in the old days, but it's a cartoon. And in the cartoon, you can totally feel the torture that this young woman goes through, that when it gets to the point where the fairy godmother appears, you could see she's hit rock bottom. You could feel she's hit rock bottom. So this was a miraculous boost. A real miracle, a real magical spell that helped her get out of the doldrums. Whereas in this one, it was kind of like she was already breaking down, and by then she just sort of broke down. So it didn't have the same oomph, and that to me is disappointing considering it's live action. So for a cartoon to get more out of it, out of that portion of the young woman's transition, than a live action movie, that to me was a little disappointing. So it's hard for me to say whether or not this was it was a good movie. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't, you wouldn't be disappointed seeing it really. I wasn't disappointed, but at the same time, as somebody that has grown up with the original Cinderella and knows the fairy tale itself, I mean, there were a lot of aspects that they added to it and stuff like that. But for somebody that knows the fairy tale as well as I do and has seen the original movie, again, wasn't disappointed. I just thought that it was missing something. And a lot of these Disney live-action movies always seem like they're missing something. I don't know if it's the direction. It was directed by Kenneth Branagh, who directed Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with Robert De Niro as Frankenstein's monster. Listen here, I'm playing the flute. I'm a monster. Is it in the mind? And he also did the Thor movies. So it was well done. Everyone did especially Cate Blanchett did a good job. The sisters were they could have been a lot more annoying. They weren't annoying, which was something because they really could have been annoying. But like I said, it seemed like it was missing something, like a soul or something. Like I didn't feel what I was supposed to feel in the movies. How do you feel? How does that make you feel? Like I didn't feel what I was supposed to, I thought, and that kind of left me a little flat. So if you want to bring out the kids to see a nice movie, I guess you could go see it. They'll love the trailers, and they'll definitely love the Frozen short. I thought it was back in public junior high school, and the principal was stepping up in front of the assembly when after that shit, because all I heard was chatter and talking all throughout the entire theater. But the stage, that's where all the emotions in front of you, Buster. But anyway, if you're going to see it with kids, that's fine. If you want to see it for the sake of seeing a movie, you'll probably enjoy it. I wouldn't say go on a first or second date to impress the young woman or young man or whatever that you're with. It's not romantic in that sense. It's like I said, it's a good movie. It's a decent movie. It's something's off on it. There's something about it. It was a lot closer to the fairy tale and fucking Maleficent, which to me was a joke. But be that as it may, I think that it was missing something. I think all of these Disney movies, even Maleficent, which was basically Angelina Jolie perform with all this spectacular makeup and effects, and we'll call it a day, there still seemed to be something missing in that. And it wasn't that Sleeping Beauty Dakota Fanning's little sister was more sleeping cutie or sleeping decently or whatever, as not a sleeping beauty. There was something else that was missing it, some kind of soul, some kind of extra layer of emotion that was missing in that movie. This one too, is just the live action movies that Disney's making based on their original fairy tale classics they're just missing something. So remember that when I say if you either want to go to this movie or you want to go see the live action Dumbo movie made by Tim Burton, which is coming out sometime in the near future, just remember what I'm saying. The live action Disney movies are always missing some kind of soul that the original storylines, the original movies that they made, that they're basing these movies off of had. So just remember that I said that. Remember that before you see this movie, if you go see this movie. I suggest seeing it if you've got nothing better to do, if you want to go out for a nice movie in this period before, of course, Avengers 2 comes out. Check it out. You might not like it. You might like it. You might be disappointed. You might not be disappointed. It is missing something. But if you see it, you won't be upset that you wasted the money on it. Look at it like that. Thank you all for watching. I have more for you soon to come. So stay tuned, take care, and have a great day.